Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It's time for the Sports Blitz, the only live-streamed local sports show in Arkansas with all the latest on the sports stories that matter to you.
Today on the Sports Blitz, we look at high school football as teams take the field tonight, Friday night football action. We look at Prediction Friday, all the lowdown on the Razorbacks as they take on Kentucky tomorrow. We'll look at the NFL schedule and much more. Prime time at the Palace tonight as well.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Welcome in on a Friday to the Sports Blitz here in the studios of the wonderful River Valley Leader. Weldon, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Great. Baseball playoffs are hot right now, Mark. It was so much on last night. You had the VP debate. You had NFL. You had baseball. You had some of my favorite TV shows. You just had a lot going on. But, Mark, nothing really bigger than the baseball playoffs right now. Baltimore Orioles taking on the New York Yankees in a decisive Game 5. So it's just a lot going on.
There definitely is, and we'll get to it here in just a moment. It's always a good day when we can have the British box.
Oh.
Because this means we're giving away tickets. It's a little inside joke because the first time we were giving away tickets, we didn't have anywhere to put all the names, so we put them in the British box. And
I just like how it looks.
Now we just kind of stuck with it, and it's our thing. In this are all the names of all the entrants who have joined the ticket giveaway that we've hosted on rivervalleyleader.com and on Facebook, on the Sports Blitz Facebook page and the River Valley Leader Facebook pages. So there are a lot of names in there getting a chance to win these tickets to the Kentucky game tomorrow. We will let you know at some point in this show. You'll have to pay attention, and we'll post the names for those that aren't able to listen the whole show. We'll post the name of the winner to the Facebook pages after the show, but it's exciting. We get to give away some tickets. We look forward to seeing who wins and how they enjoy the game. Maybe they'll take some pictures for us and post them on our Facebook wall.
Maybe they'll be mad when they find out these are Kentucky football and not basketball tickets.
I'd just be happy I won something.
Oh, yeah.
I like winning. We'll announce that later on. We hope you've liked our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/sportsblitz, and you can get in touch with us. We've got poll questions throughout the show. Just want to interact with you, and we'll read everyone's answers. At this point, we're still to the point, Weldon, where we can talk to everybody. We can take everybody's poll question answers, and we can all the questions that we ask, and we can answer those on the air. We can read their responses on the air, so we've got the ability to do that still. We want you to interact with this. Today's poll question brought to you by the Rack Furniture Warehouse in Russellville. At the quarter mark of the NFL season, who looks to be on pace to match up in the Super Bowl? Have your picks changed? I had Green Bay and the Houston Texans. I like the Houston Texans. The Green Bay Packers, they're kind of battling right now, struggling at 2-3. And you had?
I had the New England Patriots in the AFC, and I had the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC, and I feel great.
I bet you do.
I do.
Also, today is Prediction Friday, as we alluded to earlier. What is your score prediction for Saturday's game against Kentucky? Feel free to share an MVP, stats, or whatever else you think will happen on our Sports Blitz Facebook page, or you can go to the River Valley Leader Facebook page, facebook.com/RVL News. We would love to hear from you today on the show. Got a packed show, Weldon, but like you mentioned, one of the most pressing issues that's going on right now, Major League Baseball playoffs going on. We've got 2 deciding games tonight.
Yeah, 2 deciding games tonight, Mark, and the reason why we don't have 4 is because 2 series ended last night. The San Francisco Giants came back on the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds were up 0-2. The Giants came back. Buster Posey hit a grand slam to get the Giants a spot in the NLCS. And then in the American League, kind of bittersweet for me. I picked the Detroit Tigers in the preseason to win the World Series, but they had to beat my Oakland A's to do it. But a great job by the A's this year. Bob Melvin, the manager, is up for Manager of the Year, along with Buck Showalter of the Baltimore Orioles. So the Tigers finished off the A's. Justin Verlander, complete game, 4 hits. He was sensational as usual. Reigning MVP, Cy Young winner. You expect nothing different. So tonight, Mark, in the American League, for the right to play the Tigers, you have the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees squaring off tonight. These two teams, they've played each other all year, of course, in that AL East, back and forth. I think the matchups are pretty even between the two this year. That'll be a fun one to watch. And then in the National League, the St. Louis Cardinals, the local favorite here, the team that a lot of people love, taking on the Washington Nationals in a deciding Game 5. Nationals held them off last night, so we'll see what the Cardinals and Nationals do. Mark, it's hard. You look at St. Louis. They lost Pujols, and they have injuries. Chris Carpenter's coming back, but they just find a way to get it done.
Yeah, you do have to respect that, and I'm not a Cardinals fan, and most of the time I give any amount of trouble that I can to the Cardinals because of the Cardinals fans, man, and they're good fans. The Cardinals fan base traditionally is regarded as one of the best fan bases in Major League Baseball, in sports in general, because they're very nice people. But all my friends were Cardinals fans growing up, and so I just, trying to be just a little opposite because I don't really care for baseball anyway, so I was always like, oh, well, let's go Cubs. We knew that Cubs weren't going to be very good.
Yeah.
In 2003, they're in the NLCS, I think it was the NLCS, where they had a chance in the whole Bartman situation. And I like the Red Sox because before they won the World Series, I was like, they're never going to win the World Series. And then they won 2 of them, and I was like, how do you like that, Cardinals fans?
Yeah.
But they do need to be respected. Won 11 championships. They're going for 12-12 this year. But they're taking on the Washington Nationals, who I've taken an affinity for. But at this point, I kind of think that the Washington Nationals deserve to lose. You don't sit your best starter. I know that it's a health thing, that they thought that it was something that they could do to preserve him in the long run, but I just think it's stupid that they're sitting Steven Strasburg, and it's going to come back and bite their butt.
And what's really bad, you talk about bad PR, horrible for your fan base. Steven Strasburg was warming up in pregame. I don't think it was for the last game, but he's been warming up. So the fans are in the stadium. They wish they had him out there. They see him out there throwing. Man, that has got to hurt. But I tell you what's fun, though, is to see that area, D.C., Baltimore area excited about baseball. Maybe they meet in the World Series. It's out there. So
it's possible.
I mean, we'll see. But, again, with the Cardinals, Mark, I'm kind of with you. I grew up around all this Cardinal stuff, and I just said, I got to do something different. I took my act all the way out to the West Coast. I became an A's fan. I mean, but it's funny, that didn't happen to us with the Cowboys. We stuck with the Dallas thing, but you and I, we got out in baseball.
Yeah, I think part of it is just family. I don't know that your dad likes baseball. Mine really didn't care for baseball too much, but he was a Cowboys fan. He was a diehard Cowboys fan.
Oh, yeah.
He still is. And he instilled that in me, and that's what I care about, is the Dallas Cowboys as far as professional teams from this area. So I also went to a Texas Rangers game with him back in the day, and I'd prefer the Texas Rangers just because I've been there and watched them. And they're kind of a mess right now. They don't know what they're going to do, whether they're coming or going. But I will be rooting for the Baltimore Orioles tonight. I almost said Ravens. Orioles tonight as they take on the Evil Empire, hoping that they can get a win. An interesting storyline that's cropped up in that series is that Alex Rodriguez has just been pitiful, and they've pinch hit for him. Worked out in Game 3, not so much in Game 4. Joe Girardi, he's dealing with the death of his father, but he had one of the best, as far as it looked, it ended up being a good move. But at first, people were wondering, what in the world are you taking Alex Rodriguez out to put in this 40-year-old Raul Ibanez? 2 home runs later in the game, game-winning home run. You see it worked out for the best. And then last night he did the same thing, didn't quite work out.
But, that's been the thing with the Yankees this year. And I've watched them all year long, and I said, this team can really hit the baseball. But what happens when you get in a playoff series and everything is just more concentrated? The effort, the scouting, pitchers locking in on every pitch. What happens when the long ball is less available? What happens when you have to start manufacturing runs? You can't hit the ball out of the ballpark, half the time. I think the Yankees scored 47% of their runs this year off the long ball. And it's just difficult to do in the playoffs. And I wonder what would happen when they get in a series when the pitcher knows everything about them, knows what the hitters even had for breakfast, and they're able to break them down. And I think that's what's happening with the Yankees. They're dependent on the long ball, having a harder time manufacturing runs, and it's really magnified in the playoffs. But tonight, they've got CC Sabathia going, their horse, their ace. They feel good about their chances.
Yeah, CC's probably going to lock it down. But I hope something bad happens for the Yankees. I'm not a Yankees fan at all.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at some local sports real quickly. Thank you to the Rack Furniture Warehouse, our local sports sponsor. They make this possible. It's a local business supporting local kids and local student athletes. And tonight we've got a lot of football on the horizon. You're probably going to have to watch your local team or listen to your local team via the radio or the internet because most of these teams are on the road tonight, but we do have the River Valley Leader featured game of the week. It's going to be Pottsville hosting Dover. Tonight I'll be there taking photos. It'll be the first time, if it doesn't rain, let's just knock on wood, that I get to be on the sideline at Pottsville to watch the Apaches and take some photos. But the Apaches and Dover is going to be I don't know if it's going to be a good game, but it's going to be a game, and the Apaches looking to roll on in the top 5 of the 4A. Russellville on the road at Little Rock Catholic. Well, now I'll see as I read these games, you just mark some of these in your mind and let us know which ones are interesting to you, which ones that you will pay particular attention to. Clarksville at Greenbrier, Dardanelle at Waldron. You can hear that one on KWXT 1490 AM. Morrilton at Valonia. Atkins at Mansfield, Lamar at Charleston, Danville versus Lavaca at home, Hector at Union Christian, Two Rivers hosting Jesseville. There's a lot of games going on, most of them on the road tonight. Which ones really catch your eye and catch your attention?
A few of them stand out to me. I look at Dardanelle, and they're playing Waldron. And Waldron struggled this year, no question about it. But I think if you're Dardanelle and you're looking at it from a Dardanelle perspective, this is your chance to get back on track. You've played Pottsville, you've played Boonville. Certainly you knew those games were going to be tough. You got off to a 4-0 start this year. So right now you're sitting at 4-2. The confidence level in this game, you have a chance to restore some of it, get momentum back against a Waldron team where the game is very winnable. And then, of course, you look at Russellville, taking on Little Rock Catholic tonight. And I feel good about Russellville's matchup in this game. My only concern is Russellville going on the road to Little Rock Catholic. Of course, we know that the Catholic Rockets play in War Memorial Stadium, a roughly 55-seat stadium, but it's going to be about 15-20% filled to capacity. It's going to be empty with swirling winds. It could be cold. I've watched Russellville play games at Catholic, and they've struggled sometimes to throw the football, the depth perception, playing at that big stadium. I hope they can overcome that. They've got a better running game than they've had in years past. I think that'll help them. But be careful watching Russellville trying to throw the ball in those conditions.
That's an interesting thought. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
About the fact that they're playing in a 55,000-seat stadium, and then the wind does swirl in there. I've been there and witnessed that, and hopefully Russellville will be able to get in there and walk through at least, throw the ball around a little bit, and get acclimated. They're looking to go to 5-2 on the season. Looking to have a 3-game winning streak here before they go into Little Rock Hall, and they end their season with Southside and Greenwood, which will be the meat of the schedule there. So looks like Russellville is in good shape tonight. They'll play Little Rock Catholic. Hopefully they'll be able to get a win. And then another one that I thought was very interesting, and it's one I hear about all the time now as a youth pastor in Clarksville and having Clarksville and Lamar students. The Lamar Warriors taking on Charleston. Charleston's going to come in fresh off a loss to Atkins, and congratulations to the Atkins Red Devils on that first win against Charleston. But now Charleston's going to come in wounded, and we're going to see, like you said on Wednesday, what Lamar's got. Lamar is this a Lamar team that can compete in the 3A, or is this just a team that's taking advantage of the weaker teams in the conference? It's going to be very interesting what happens tonight in this Lamar-Charleston game.
It really is, Mark, and you touched on it. I said Wednesday, I really want to see what Lamar is about. They've got a favorable schedule. They've got a chance to finish above 500 and be seated well in the playoffs and all. But the question we have is how good is this team? And they're going to find out against Charleston.
Definitely. Arkansas Tech, for those of you that wonder about the Wonder Boys, they're taking on Southwestern Oklahoma on the road, 2 p.m. So if you're not able to watch that game, you can go to athletics.atu.edu, find the football link, and you can listen to the wonderful golden voice of the Wonder Boys voice, Sam Straisner, as one of the best people you'll ever meet in your entire life, as he calls the Wonder Boys versus Southwestern Oklahoma. One more news and note here from Arkansas Tech. The Golden Suns volleyball team will host Southern Nazarene tonight, 6 p.m., Tucker Coliseum. So if you're out and about and you want to watch some volleyball, the Golden Suns won the GAC last year. They look to do the same thing this year. You can watch some good volleyball if that fits your fancy tonight. We're going to go to break real quick. When we come back, we'll have some John L. Smith sound from his press conference, and we'll also talk about the Hogs. It's Prediction Friday. Let us know what you think, what's on your mind sports-wise. We would love to have you interact with us in the show today.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval with Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where we have the largest selection of recliners and mattresses in the state of Arkansas. Come visit us at 2609 East Parkway, the Rack Furniture Warehouse.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Sports Scene of Arkansas offers a wide variety of sporting goods and apparel to meet any athlete's needs. Coaches love the top-of-the-line equipment that gives their players an edge, and parents and fans can't get enough of the high-quality screen printing that allows them to sport their favorite team's logo on jerseys, bags, and hats. Your one-stop shop for embroidery, banners, and much, much more. Visit your local team sports specialists. Sports Scene at 316 West Main in Russellville.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
We're one segment closer to giving away Arkansas, Kentucky football tickets right here in the British box. It's the name of the winner. Somewhere in here. Keep calm and carry on, it says. We're going to give away these tickets at some point today during the show. Thank you for joining us today on the Sports Blitz. Mark Freeman alongside Weldon Braxton. We've got several questions for you to answer today about the Hogs and just about sports in general on the Sports Blitz poll question. You can go to facebook.com/sportsblitz, find our poll question, which is today at the quarter mark of the NFL season. Who looks to be on pace to match up in the Super Bowl in the NFL? And have your picks changed? And also our prediction Friday. What's your score prediction for Saturday's game against Kentucky? We got 6 comments so far. Feel free to share an MVP stats or whatever else you think will happen. There's also one other way. If you're not available to talk on Facebook, you can text us to the Sports Blitz text box at 479-310-5620. We'd love to hear from you today with whatever thoughts you've got about sports. We've had several different people who have commented and sent us in things on that, and we'd love to hear what you've got going today. Weldon, Arkansas's facing Kentucky. What's the line at? 18.5?
18.5. Opened up at 17, so some faith in the Hogs.
Some injuries on Kentucky's side. Arkansas is dealing with quite a bit of injuries. We'll get to our predictions here in just a little bit, but let's start with those injuries. Kentucky's missing 2 quarterbacks, a lot of guys. Arkansas, we've got plenty of injuries to deal with ourselves.
3/4 of the secondary, they've been through quarterbacks. I mean, I think I saw something where 23 freshmen are traveling, 30-something sophomores.
And this is for Kentucky?
Yeah, for Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky, what we're getting is a very young team. And I saw Joker Phillips in an interview said, look, maybe it's a good thing that we've got young guys that don't know what they're getting into. They don't know to be afraid to go on the road in an SEC environment. And I think from an Arkansas standpoint, I look at that and I'm not worried about it, But it does concern me. Kentucky is so mashed up and young, and they're just grasping for straws at this point. They may come out and do anything. They may come out and with things we're not even prepared for as a staff. I know if you talk to the coaches and the guys preparing, that is a little bit of a concern. Even though the team is not as good as you worry when a team is likely going to come out with a different bag of tricks that you haven't gotten ready for.
And that is always a worrisome thing. But in Kentucky, for some reason, the last several years, we were just looking at this. 2 out of the last 3 times they beat Arkansas.
Yeah.
So that's they've always seemed to have something in their bag of tricks, as you said. And when you come on the road, you can just let it all hang out, especially when you've got all these injuries and you're not expected to win. You're an 18-point dog. Kentucky's not supposed to win this game, and everybody knows it. So Arkansas has got to play very well and got to take care of business, put the foot on the throat.
Yeah.
But we talked about Kentucky's injuries. Arkansas's got plenty of injuries of its own. We found out this week that Alonzo Highsmith and Tank Wright, 2 starting linebackers to start the season. I know Tank Wright moved back to defensive end, out for the rest of the season. That's a blow when you've already got Darius Winston, who's taken himself out for the season at corner because he hasn't played very well, and Tevin Mitchell, who's been out for so long, coming back this week. We don't know what to expect from him. You've got Eric Bennett, who's played terribly for the most part and has been taken out in several different times. So you've got so much flux on the defensive side of the ball, and even just the fact that Tyler Wilson's been hurt, Niall Davis hasn't been himself, Kobe Hamilton's missed a game.
Yeah.
Lots of injuries that Arkansas has had to endure too.
Well, it's like I said on Wednesday.
Chris Gregg out again.
Chris Gregg is out. I mean, really, you could just go on. And like I said Wednesday, at some point you just realize that it's just not your year. It just doesn't click, whether it be the injury bug, whether it be issues with the coaching staff, whether it be execution problems. You have unforeseen turnovers and mistakes. There just comes a time where things just don't fall right. And that's certainly what 2012 has been for the Razorbacks. I mean, you could definitely say this team's been snake bitten. And all you can do, Mark, and I know we mentioned this before as well, is try to get through this season, get healthy, get the new coaching staff in, and really relaunch this program, because really Arkansas is in survival mode right now. I mean, you're trying to get some momentum and win games, and that's a whole nother thing. I'm not even sure what to expect from Arkansas. We would like to think, well, we can build on momentum now. We've got a Kentucky team. It's winnable. But I can't 100% say for sure that Arkansas will just come out, look even better than last week, dominate even more, and just get a steamroll effect going. For some reason, I just can't go there yet.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same place. And that snake bitten is perfect because that's what we are. Coming into the season expecting a top 10, 15 finish at the worst, maybe even the top 5 in a national championship. And it's not going to happen. And that kind of hurts a little bit. It's right down deep in the soul. We'll read what people have. I mean, if you've watched this show for the last month or so, you would have seen Arkansas goes from 12-0 national champions, 13-14-0 national champions to can they win another game? And now we're somewhere in the middle now, but that wasn't us.
We're afraid to trust. We're scared.
That's
to
it.
Trust.
That's it. We're definitely afraid to trust. And John L. Smith addressed a lot of the questions that we've had and some of the things that we were talking about real quickly. Let's hear what John L. Smith had to say in his press conference. About 2 minutes of him yesterday.
Yeah, very good week. Our practice was extremely good on Tuesday, probably better than it was last Tuesday, to be honest with you. And then Wednesday we turned around, because our last Wednesday wasn't very good. It was a great Wednesday for us. Today was a good day. Good, sharp, high energy. So now we just have to take it to the game field again, like we did a week ago. Go out and play with confidence, which is kind of the biggest thing. I think we're playing with emotion. We're practicing with emotion. We're flying around, and energy is good there. Now, again, just take it to the field and see if we can do it again. And get in front of our hometown crowd would be nice. So we're looking forward to that. So I don't have much other to say other than that. It'll be interesting to see what we have to do, and what they give us. We'll have to, I'm sure, make some adjustments. But that's part of the game.
What do you tell, someone like Tabor that's going through the grind of that stuff at linebacker?
Well, again, there are things, and everybody knows that, in football, That's the way it is sometimes. And then all of a sudden now you end up with a couple freshmen in there playing a ton, and then one guy starting. So it's one of those things that you just have to stay positive. And the other thing, try to keep it simple enough for, again, like I tried to explain, make sure he can handle all of it. And as he's handling it, hopefully you'd have somebody in there next to him to kind of help. And that's where we've tried to appeal to T. Will. I mean, you've been here for a long time. Okay, not only getting yourself lined up now, get the guy next to you lined up. Help him out. Encourage him. So that has to take place. But we were talking coming over here. I mean, you can see immense growth in these guys just from day to day, week to week. They're getting better. And like I said, that's the great thing about young guys. They're going to get better.
And that's what we talked about, Weldon, in the Honda of Russellville Hog Talk segment for months. We've talked about how, well, at least for the last month, we've talked about how we feel like Arkansas needs to show some effort and show that they're getting better. And that was a problem that we were wondering about from the beginning of the season. What in the world is going on with some of these upperclassmen? Why aren't they looking like they're getting any better? And at least the young guys, all through their struggles, and there will be bumps in the road, there have been already, they're going to come up against things that they aren't prepared for, things that they're not physically able to do at this point. But at least they're getting better every time, and we can see an improvement.
They are, and what we've seen through this year is attrition. And then that's something that this Arkansas team has had to deal with. You heard John L. Smith be asked about Taver Johnson, of course, coaching linebackers, and how he's handled it. And really what John L. said was it comes down to simplifying things. You've got young players, you've got young guys that you're trying to work in. Let's scale it back a little bit from a scheme standpoint. And, Mark, I can tell you there's a lot of value in that. Sure, you can't complicate your looks and do things, but when you have young players that have simple assignments and all they have to do is just fly around and play football, and they don't have to worry about all these different things of, well, here's my key here, or this guy motioned here, so I have to check to here. Quiet your mind, simplify everything, and just play. That really helps these young guys. And you're right, Mark. Arkansas's growth as far as the young players, we're starting to see it. I'm excited to see the next step here against Kentucky.
Yeah, that's definitely – and, looking at the schedule, you've got Auburn, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tulsa right in a row. These are 4 winnable games. I'm not saying they're going to win all of them. Ole Miss right now, if they were to play, I would pick Ole Miss to win the game. But you've got teams that aren't going to just necessarily beat your brains out. You're going to get to work on some things. You're going to get to improve where you can. And maybe they'll be able to – I don't know if you can on the fly make things more complex on young players and allow them to open up more of the playbook. But at this point, they're in a pretty decent part of the schedule to be able to play some of these younger guys, get them in and acclimated. You would like to not have to worry about that. And you just redshirt these guys, set them on the bench, and let them learn from the other guys. But that's not necessarily what's going to be able to happen this year. So we're going to break down the Arkansas Razorbacks game against Kentucky. We're going to get to your predictions here in just a moment. Let's just look at some other things real quickly, Weldon, before we go. One thing that we missed on Wednesday was that Brandon Mitchell was working at tight end some during the Wednesday practice, or maybe the Tuesday practice, and somebody asked Paul Petrino about it, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't know what you're talking about." There's kind of a little wrinkle there that that he didn't want to admit to. Is it from a coaching standpoint? Is it alarming, or is it just trickery, or what is it that you change something so drastically in the middle of the season like that?
Well, I mean, we know Brandon Mitchell's been working at wide receiver, and just think about the NFL. The NFL is all about creating tight end matchups. Now, that's the style. That's where you see the Gronkowskis, the Jimmy Grahams. You see even Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, who's playing well in his later years. The style and the trend in football. Football is a really trendy sport. Spread offenses the last 8 to 10 years has kind of been the big thing. Well, right now it's about isolating tight ends. And I think if you're Arkansas, I'm not sure how much they're looking into doing it, but getting Brandon Mitchell on a tight end or a linebacker, trying to get him a good matchup where he can use his body, being 6'4", using his size. So I think it's more about creating matchups and just giving your offense another dimension.
That's probably what they're looking to do. Really, it's just take advantage of matchups when they don't have a whole lot of matchup advantages at this point that they can exploit. Hopefully this week, and we'll give you our predictions here in just a little bit. There are some guys who we'd like to see step up. Brandon Mitchell playing at tight end, if that's what it takes to get him a favorable matchup, maybe that's what will happen. Hopefully we'll see the Razorbacks take advantage of that. We're going to hit a break real quickly. Thank you, Honda of Russellville, again, for being our local Hogs sponsor. Go like them on Facebook. Let them know that the Sports Blitz and River Valley Leaders sent you. They'll be glad to hook you up. It's the 33rd anniversary coming up. We'll have some details about that. But if you're looking for any sort of ATV, motorcycle, whatever you're looking for, Honda of Russellville's got you taken care of. We'll be back right after this. We'll give you our fantasy football picks for the week. We'll give you some sleepers, some guys that you can start if you haven't already locked in your lineup, and just some things to help you out. We'll be back on the Sports Blitz.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval again at Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where Leon and I are back in business. We have gallery selection at quality warehouse prices here at the Rack Furniture Warehouse, 2609 East Parkway, Russellville.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
It doesn't matter what you're looking for, chances are Good Deal Charlie Discount Furniture has it. From living room, bedroom, and dining furniture to one-of-a-kind pieces, Good Deal Charlie has everything. The staff is pleasant and always friendly, so you'll feel no pressure to buy. With new and used furniture for your home or office, you can find everything you need at the best possible prices at 2209 East Main Street in Russellville. Good Deal Charlie.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
If you're anything like us, fellow sports blitzers, you enjoyed football all the time, and last night was a good chance to watch some football in the NFL as the Thursday night schedule started. Was it week 5? Week 6?
I think
week
so.
6. Tennessee got a 26-23 win over Pittsburgh. They Pittsburghed Tennessee. Tennessee Pittsburgh. They got the last possession, went down and kicked the field goal to win the game after Pittsburgh missed a field goal. It looked like it was good. It was just not long enough. It was right down the middle, but it just wasn't long enough. And Tennessee gets a win. We talked about fantasy implications. Ben Roethlisberger, I have him in one of my leagues, and Chris Johnson, I have him in another one. 16 points from Chris Johnson, who, Weldon, we've both been pretty disappointed with how he's performed so far in fantasy football.
We have been disappointed in Chris, and I think he had 91 yards last night. A pretty solid day at the office. Of course, from a fantasy standpoint, we like when people get in the end zone, and unfortunately, Chris Johnson couldn't do that. But hey, I've got him in 2 leagues, and I really didn't have a choice but to start him in a couple other leagues. I think I had Sean Green as an option, and Doug Martin, who against the Chiefs, that would have been all right. But I just went ahead and went with Chris Johnson. And I didn't get a home run effort, but considering how he's played or how his performance, because that offensive line's been part of the struggles, and considering how he's played against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'd say it was all right. I'm all right with what Chris Johnson did.
Yeah, Chris Johnson was 16 points in one of my leagues. Now, we're not standard scoring leagues, but for those of you that are looking at standard scoring leagues, Chris Johnson had 91 yards. He didn't get in the end zone, so he probably got you about 9 points, roughly. If you get PPR, point per reception, he had a couple catches too, so that helps. But one thing, Ben Roethlisberger, 33 points. I've been trying to trade him for Tony Romo, and I don't know that I want to trade him anymore. I love Tony Romo, and I wanted to buy low with him because he's as low as he can get in a lot of people's minds. But Ben Roethlisberger had 33 points, and he's been one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league as far as fantasy goes. So there are a lot of NFL storylines, and if you've got a fantasy football question, or if you've got somebody who's been really good on your fantasy football team, you want us to know about it, and maybe you can gloat a little bit, just hit us up on Facebook. Let us know how you got such and such in the 10th round, and he's just tearing it up. I don't know that I've had any of those. My team has been just basically built on grinding.
Yeah, I mean, the draft, I'm a big draft guy. I know how to work a waiver wire, and I like doing it, but I like getting it done in the draft. But, Mark, I'm just scrolling through here in my Yahoo Public League because, it's got the closest scoring to standard. Of course, ESPN Public Leagues do as well. A couple of guys I'm liking, Vic Ballard, rookie running back out of Mississippi State's getting a start this week for the Colts. Donald Brown is out. So if you're scrambling for a running back situation, you're like me, you've got guys like Matt Forte on their bye week. He's not a bad option as well. And then William Powell, Arizona. Has been banged up a little bit, but now he's ready to go. We know Ryan Williams went down. So, if you're scrambling for a deep running back option, I think those are a couple of guys to look at.
There are plenty of fantasy football sleepers out there. If you've got one, let us know. There are several games that we were looking at, Weldon, as being interesting games this week. We looked at our power rankings on Wednesday. We both agreed that the Texans looked good at number 1. You had the Falcons in the Super Bowl, and they're number 2. San Francisco at number 3. We both agreed, though, that San Francisco, if we were to pick anybody right now, it'd be hard to pick against San Francisco as far as a team that looks the best at this point.
Yeah.
And then Baltimore at number 4. I had New England at number 5. You had Chicago at number 5. I just don't want to vote for the Bears because they beat down my Cowboys.
That's understandable.
The fantasy, or not the fantasy football, the power rankings that we're putting up, it's all just for fun because they don't have rankings in the NFL. But like we said on Wednesday, we'd be hard pressed to pick anybody to beat San Francisco at this point.
They look really good. I love that style of play. I love how efficient they operate. I am looking at Alex Smith. I got to get an update on his health.
Yeah.
He's got an injury to a finger on his throwing hand, so I'm a little concerned about that. And really, to me, the best game of the week, they're taking on the New York Giants, a rematch of last year's NFC title game when the Giants pulled it out. Of course, a lot of turnovers on the 49ers' part. San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're 5.5-point favorites, 4.5 now. So Tom Coughlin comes out, plays the us against the world card. Nobody's picking us to win. Stop it, Tom. Just stop it. I mean, you can only play this underdog card so much. We know the 49ers are dominant, but no, we all know you're the Giants. We all know you've won world championships. Nobody is writing you off, flushing you down the toilet. Just stop it.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game there. That'll probably be the game of the week as far as I can see here. New England, Seattle, that one looks like it'll be kind of interesting. Green Bay, Houston, Sunday night, that one, Corey Williams said that looks like a preview of the Super Bowl because he's a Packers fan, but that is a preview of my Super Bowl. I did have Green Bay and Houston in the Super Bowl. Denver, San Diego on Monday night. Weldon, what games really stick out to you, and why are you going to be watching specific games? Because I'm going to be watching all of them. I'm going to have the NFL Sunday ticket with all 8 games. And I don't know which one I'm going to put the audio on yet, but as of right now, I've got 8 good games to choose from.
It is hard to pick, but I tell you, that Packers-Texans game, I think you have to look at that. Houston 3.5-point favorites, and something about it, I like Green Bay. I know you want Green Bay to win because they got to get back in it for your Super Bowl reasons, but I tell you what, I kind of like Green Bay. Look, Houston's played tremendous football. They've been balanced. That zone running scheme has been great. When you run that zone scheme, it gives devastating play action. You're going to have people wide open downfield. They've done that this year. But there's just something about Houston. I wonder how long can they sustain this elite play. And Green Bay, they're a good team. I know Greg Jennings is going to be out. He's looking at a serious injury, possibly season-ending. but I just like Green Bay to buck up and say, hey, we got to win this. We got to get it done. I'm leaning towards the Packers in this one just because they need it.
And then a couple other games, I agree. I really want to see if Green Bay can hold up against what the Houston Texans will do to you. They'll ground and pound. They'll hit you with the play action better than anybody else in the league, and their defense is rugged. I know they're going to be without Brian Cushing for the rest of the year, but I'm really hoping that Green Bay can rise up because they need to. 2-4 is not a good place to be at all. So they need to get back to 500. I'll look at the Detroit-Philadelphia game. That one's going to be fun to watch. New England-Seattle. Is this Seattle secondary for real? Can New England's offense move the ball against Seattle, especially in Seattle? That's going to be a tough one. And then, like you said, the Giants in San Francisco. Lots of good games going on this weekend.
A lot of really good games, and I'm just looking through that Colts game. I call it the ESPN game of the week because anybody playing the Jets is the ESPN game of the week.
For real.
It's going to get talked about to death. Oh, if the Jets can't put up any points, just let the parade begin. The you-know-who parade, the most famous backup quarterback in the history of the league. We will have to hear about him for an entire week.
We can't wait. Can't wait to hear the Tebow train roll in. They're already talking about it, so we might as well just expect him to jump up and be the starter in the next couple weeks. Let's look at college football real quickly as we transition, and we're about to go back into predictions. So those of you that have given your predictions on the Hogs, we'll get to those right after the break here. But there are a couple games this week that jump out. The Red River rivalry, say that 3 times fast. 15th ranked Texas against 13th ranked Oklahoma. They're going to split the stadium in half. And I heard Colt McCoy talking about this. I really like this. I'm not a big Texas fan by any means, but Colt McCoy, he said, you'll see half the stadium in orange and then half the stadium in whatever color they wear. That was really cool. Huge rivalry, hatred. I mean, it's not. I don't even know if that's a strong enough word for what Oklahoma fans and Texas fans have for one another. A lot of these young guys from Texas and Oklahoma have no idea what they're stepping into on Saturday.
Yeah.
Stanford, Notre Dame, number 17th ranked Cardinal, walking into South Bend and taking on the 7th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We'll find out if Notre Dame is the real deal as far as just physicality, because Stanford will punish South Carolina, number 3 in the country, versus number 9 LSU. Both of us, I didn't figure this would be the way it went, but we both had LSU winning that game. And then Texas A&M at Louisiana Tech. The reason that game is of interest is because Sonny Dykes, the Louisiana Tech head coach, has been brought up in Arkansas coaching rumors. So we'll be paying particular attention to these games this week.
And I think some Arkansas fans may make a case they would cheer for A&M just to keep Sonny Dykes' name out of the conversation. But, I mean, go back to this Red River rivalry game. And usually when I look at a game and I survey it, I kind of get a good feeling on which way I'm going, or at least if I'm not picking the winner correctly, I can at least understand the tone that the game will have. This Oklahoma-Texas game this year, I think it could go a number of different ways. I'm looking at who really needs this game more, who's it bigger for. I think it's bigger for Oklahoma. I think if Oklahoma wants to maintain their national championship hopes, they already have a loss on their belt to Kansas State. They've still got West Virginia on the road. Texas, expectations are always high down in Austin, but I think even Texas fans, no one expected a one-loss season or an undefeated season. I think Oklahoma really needs to win this game because they've stumped their toe the last few years. Landry Jones, the whole Landry Jones era hadn't been quite what it was supposed to be. Yep. So I'm looking at Oklahoma. And then you mentioned that Stanford and Notre Dame game. I mean, physically, that's the question. You hit it right on the head because Notre Dame, they've always been ranked high. When Notre Dame does anything halfway right, they get credit for doing everything right.
That's true.
And the question is this Notre Dame team different? And something tells me they are. Go back to the Brady Quinn, Charlie Weiss era where they could put up points, but they were a pretty soft team. This is a little bit different. They're not quite as explosive on offense, but I think physically with Manti Te'o, one of the best linebackers in the country in the middle, they've shown me elements of holding up against tough teams. So this Stanford test will be really fun to watch.
I just couldn't believe that we both picked LSU to beat South Carolina. South Carolina,
I'm surprised you picked them.
There's no reason. Yeah, you picked LSU to win the national championship. There's no reason, really, if you're looking at this logically. A lot of people are picking South Carolina. They're saying LSU's not as good as they were supposed to be. They're going to lose 3 or 4 games. Something about Death Valley in a big game with a defense that we know is good that's going to give – I mean, it gave up 14 points to Florida, who Florida's offense hasn't been great. But I don't know how it's going to get done. I don't even really know how to explain my thought that LSU is going to be able to score enough points to beat South Carolina when their offense and defense has both been pretty good so far this season. And we're talking about the Gamecocks. But the last time a number 3 ranked team rolled into Death Valley, they came out with their tail between their legs. They got up 14-0. And we're talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks last year, rolled out of Death Valley with the tail between their legs.
Yeah. Have you heard that Death Valley debate? Dabo Swinney chimed in, and that's funny. But
I don't even care about Death Valley. It's just which one's better, and it's always been LSU. I mean, really,
it has. And I'm looking at this LSU's 2.5-point favorites. Wouldn't be surprised if that went down even more. I agree with you on the stock situation. I always look at picking games like stock and how other people are moving, and certainly the trend right now is South Carolina up, LSU down.
Yep.
Trends have nothing to do with head-to-head. I think that's what you and I are seeing. I think we would agree South Carolina's got the momentum, and LSU's momentum is trending downward. But that doesn't mean when you lock them on the field in LSU at night with that crowd, that South Carolina's going to get it done. So I look for this LSU defense to create turnovers. They know, they admitted they got tired last week. I didn't like hearing that, but I think they're going to try to force turnovers to help their offense out.
We're about to give away some Arkansas, Kentucky tickets. We're going to read your thoughts when we come back. Get a hold of us on Facebook, facebook.com/sportsblitz. Let us know what your predictions are for the season. Or not for the season, for the game against Kentucky. You can give us those too if you want. And we're going to reach in this British box here in just a moment. We're going to draw a winner to these Arkansas, Kentucky tickets. So stay tuned.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval with Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where we have the largest selection of recliners and mattresses in the state of Arkansas. Come visit us at 2609 East Parkway, the Rack Furniture Warehouse.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Sports Scene of Arkansas offers a wide variety of sporting goods and apparel to meet any athlete's needs. Coaches love the top-of-the-line equipment that gives their players an edge, and parents and fans can't get enough of the high-quality screen printing that allows them to sport their favorite team's logo on jerseys, bags, and hats. Your one-stop shop for embroidery, banners, and much, much more. Visit your local team sports specialists. Sports Scene at 316 West Main in Russellville.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval again at Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where Leon and I are back in business. We have gallery selection at quality warehouse prices here at the Rack Furniture Warehouse, 2609 East Parkway, Russellville.
AR Sports present the 2012 River Valley Football Magazine, featuring profiles of local high school football teams, as well as college football previews and player spotlights. Professional photography accompanies top-notch writing throughout to bring you the best locally focused publication in Arkansas. You'll enjoy special tributes to local legends Jerry Aiken and Don Sevier, as well as an exclusive interview with Razorback all-time great Clint Sterner in this year's magazine. Available at fine establishments throughout the River Valley. Pick up your copy of River Valley Football Magazine today.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Last segment of a Sports Blitz week. Thank you for joining us. Go like our Facebook page, facebook.com/sportsblitz or facebook.com/RVL News. We'd love to have your input on what we're talking about every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to noon. We're about to give away some Arkansas-Kentucky tickets here in just a moment. 2 tickets to sit down there and watch the Razorbacks beat down Kentucky tomorrow. We hope. We definitely hope. That would be a bad deal. Hey, we haven't given away tickets to a loss yet, have we? Did we give away Rutgers tickets?
I think we did.
Dang.
Yeah.
We did, didn't we?
We did.
Man. Well, we're 1-1.
Right.
So we're going to have to break the rubber game right here.
All right, let's do it.
We didn't give away tickets to the Alabama game because we knew better than that. No, we didn't give away tickets to Louisiana. We gave tickets to the Jacksonville State and then Rutgers. All right, so we've asked today's Prediction Friday. What is your score prediction for Friday or for Saturday's game against Kentucky? And we asked that people feel free to share MVP stats, just whatever they think will happen. Razorback Fan Nation commented and said 49-3 Hogs. Says Hog Billy. That's wow. A couple of years ago, we might have expected that. Last year, we might have expected that. Earlier on in the season, we might have expected that. But right now, that's tough for. That's the fan.
He might be
in
right,
me, and I hope he is right. Shane Voss says 33-17 Hogs. Niall Davis has a 100-yard plus rushing game, and he said woo pig suey. Justin Overton said 31-14 Hogs in an ugly win. The score won't accurately describe the game. It will be close. The last time we played Kentucky, they beat us. We've talked about that 2 out of the last 3 times Arkansas has played Kentucky, Kentucky's won the game. And the time before that, which was I think 2 times before that, Arkansas won in 7 overtimes. And then Andrew Rasnick says Arkansas 38, Kentucky 9. Niall tears it up, and Wilson throws for 300 yards. Kobe has 100 receiving yards. So, Weldon, with all that said, we know we expect Arkansas to win the game. What is Arkansas going to have to do to win the game? And then we'll get your score.
Well, Arkansas is going to have to, first of all, build on what they've done last week against Auburn. And you can do that in a lot of ways. That defensive line is what stuck out. We knew with all the changes at linebacker and different things in the secondary, we thought coming into the year we could count on this defensive line. And they've been okay this year. But last week was really their coming out party. They manhandled Auburn's front. I think that needs to happen. I think that will happen again. And that'll set the tone for the entire game. And on offense, it's just about taking care of the ball. I think Arkansas can go up and down the field on this team. I think they can do whatever they want to do, but they've got to take care of the ball. So I'll say Arkansas does, and I'll go Arkansas 37, Kentucky 21.
37-21. Maddie, you didn't give us a score in the break. Our producer likes to get in with us, but he's just what did you say? 28-21 Hogs. That's right. Yeah, you did give us that score. 28-21. Guys, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. I said this last week. I think I was the only one that picked Arkansas to beat Auburn.
Picking Kentucky.
Yeah, no. I had a little more faith in us last week. I've got a little more faith in us this week that Arkansas is going to be able to get it done. Like you said, I like them to just walk up and down the field on Kentucky because Kentucky's so depleted in injuries all over the place. And then I also see what we had last week with the defensive line getting as much pressure as they did. It was out of necessity. You've got so many injuries on the back end. You don't have a defensive secondary to speak of. If you don't create pressure, you're in trouble. No. Trey Flowers, Chris Smith, they're just going to unleash this week. They're going to have to. I mean, there's just no choice. Byron Jones, Robert Thomas, they have to just put as much pressure on the quarterback as they possibly can. It's looking like a third-string guy. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's going to be their quarterback. They're in a bad way there in Kentucky on offense. So I expect that the defensive line is going to get a lot of pressure. They're going to either create turnovers or at least just create a lot of pressure, a lot of havoc there on Kentucky. And I do think Kentucky's going to score because the defense is just not very good, and I've got the defense giving up a little bit more than you guys do, but I trust the offense a little bit more. Today, I'm a little more confident in the running game than I was a couple weeks ago because they listened to me when I looked straight into the camera on Friday, and I said, please, Arkansas, give the ball to Dennis Johnson and get out of the way. He had 2 touchdowns rushing the ball. I think Dennis Johnson, Niall Davis, going to give Arkansas that threat of balance that we always talk about. And Tyler Wilson, he's going to do what Tyler Wilson does. He's going to hit Kobe Hamilton. He's going to hit Austin Tate now instead of Chris Gregg. Some of these other receivers are going to have to step up. Brandon Mitchell at tight end, they'll look for him to have an impact if that's what they choose to do with him. And I see it being Arkansas 44, Kentucky 24. I'd like to see Kentucky score a few less points than that, but that's where I'm at right now just with the defense. I don't know that they can put that good a performance together 2 weeks in a row, but I do think that the offense is going to do well. All right, now it's the moment of truth. We've been waiting on this all show long, all week long, really. We're going to dig into this British box that we have here, and we're going to look for a winner in the ticket contest. We're going to give away these 2 tickets to the Arkansas-Kentucky game. You may hear some change in there. It's all right. We threw some change in there with our names in there with this change box. That's part of the inside joke. And let's find us a winner. We don't have a drum roll or anything, do we?
No.
All right. Here we go. Our winner, and Maddie, you're gonna have to zoom in here. Oh, not on me. Let's zoom in on the paper here as I open it. Oh,
yeah, you didn't put your face on this morning.
Who is it? Our winner is Tony Wagner. Congratulations, Tony Wagner. We don't know you, but you're welcome to come by the River Valley Leaders Studios here in the strip mall that used to be with the old National Home Center right here by Brangus and Russellville. Pick up your tickets. Congratulations again on winning these tickets, and we hope you'll enjoy your time at Razorback Stadium. And we'll, if you want to take a picture and put it on Facebook for us, or just let us know how it was, send us back some comment or something about the game and what you enjoyed about it. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
exciting.
It's exciting. Congratulations, and we love doing stuff with people. Mark,
That's
we
what
are
we're
here for the people. Exactly. It's not about us. I know it may seem like it's all about me, but I'm really all about you out there.
You out there in listener land, we're all about you. All right, let's look one more time at the AR Sports Magazine's schedules of the high school football games. Thank you for AR Sports providing us with the schedules. Russellville's taking on Little Rock Catholic tonight. Pottsville at home versus Dover. Matt Ketchum will be there. That's the River Valley Leader featured game of the week. Clarksville's taking on Greenbrier on the road. Dardanelle travels to Waldron. Listen to that one on KWXT 1490 AM. Morrilton is traveling to Valonia. Atkins is at Mansfield. Lamar's at Charleston. Danville's at home versus Lavaca. Hector is at Union Christian. Two Rivers at home against Jessieville, and Arkansas Tech tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the road at Southwestern Oklahoma. We hope you will get involved and watch some local sports. Let us know. You can send us your scores of a night at Facebook.com/SportsBlitz. You can actually post those scores every quarter if you want. Whenever somebody scores, you can post a new score on our wall, and we'd love to have a winner to every game. We go to FearlessFriday.com, but if we can get it from you guys, that would be great.
Yeah.
Let us know who was a standout in the game, what exactly took place in your game. We'll be, again, at Pottsville tonight. But if you're a family member, a parent, or a student that's traveling to the game tonight, let us know what happened in your game. We'd love to talk about it on Monday. We'll try to get I tried to get Coach Cody from Atkins. I didn't know that he was a middle school teacher, and he's teaching all day long. So we'll try to get him to skip class one day.
Yeah.
Well, give him some worksheets, you said.
Yeah, if I was a teacher, I'm like, look, I don't feel like teaching today. Here's some worksheets. A couple housekeeping things, though, Mark. We do want to send our condolences to Vino Cook's family, of course.
Definitely.
He's been a fixture in college football. He's known for sort of his quirky humor and taking that nice approach to it. So he will certainly be missed. And tonight, for the Arkansas Razorbacks, prime time at the Palace. Basketball autographs are at 8 o'clock. And then the action will start at 9. It's real fun. They do games and stuff, dunk contests. So if you're going to make it up on the hill, check it out.
Yeah, celebrity judges. I don't want to let a cat out of the bag because I'm not even sure if this is true or not, but I saw Ronnie Brewer tweeted about this. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ronnie Brewer as a celebrity judge.
They didn't call us. I'm still stuck on the fact they didn't call us to judge.
Let's guess who's going to be the judges. I think Scotty Thurman, maybe Corliss Williamson. He's got to be one if he's available due to his UCA duties. Ronnie Brewer, you've got guys that you can get a pretty nice little autograph from.
Yeah, if it's starting at everywhere, then
he may have him something to do tonight.
They may
UCA.
have. Was it Bear Madness? I don't know what they call it at UCA. So yeah, just bring a canned good. That's all they're asking. So support a good cause.
Definitely. Check out Prime Time at the Palace. We'll have something new to talk about on Monday. Let us know what happens in your high school football game, and be back here 11 o'clock on Monday for more Sports Blitz. Thank you for joining us. For Weldon, I'm Mark. So long, and y'all have a good weekend.
Welcome to this week's Top 5, where we'll be counting down the top stories for the week. Next summer, we may have one more way to beat the heat. The Russellville Recreation and Parks Department is moving toward installing a splash pad, which is a 600-square-foot water attraction that will be placed in one of the city parks. The low bid on the project came in at around $21,000. The Junior Auxiliary of Russellville is in pursuit of this installation as well and has donated $5,000 and raised $14,500. Mass flu clinics will be held in Pope, Yell, Johnson, and Conway counties as the Arkansas Department of Health has organized day-long events during which they plan to immunize as many people as possible. Health professionals and volunteers will work as a team to provide vaccine to all those who come. Some clinics even offer drive-thrus in which you don't even leave your car. The clinics will begin October 12th with the last one scheduled for November 2nd. Read the story for more information on the closest clinic to you. Mark Taylor, a former Polk County Sheriff's Office investigator who spent 25 years in law enforcement, was arrested on Friday, October 5th after being questioned by the Arkansas State Police concerning the sexual assault of a 5-year-old. The police investigation into Taylor began on September 24th when the state police received a hotline report. The young victim told investigators Taylor committed a lewd act in front of her. The victim later described to investigators what had occurred during the incident. Taylor has been charged with second-degree sexual assault. Yell County Sheriff Bill Gilkey announced that on October 2, 2012, Detective Sergeant Kenneth Poore of the Yell County Criminal Investigation Division was awarded the 2012 Outstanding Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award for the 2nd Congressional District of the state of Arkansas. Congratulations on a well-deserved honor for an exceptional public servant. And our number one story this week is an inspiring welcome home to a wounded soldier. Former Dardanelle resident Chris Tart was severely wounded last year while serving in Afghanistan, losing part of one leg and suffering serious injury to the other in an explosion. Thanks to the efforts of the Wounded Warrior Project, Chris, Natalie, and their 3 children flew into the Russellville Airport Friday, October 5th on a private plane free of charge. Check out the emotional return we caught on video at rivervalleyleader.com by searching Wounded Warrior on the site. Thank you for joining us in this week's Top 5. Be sure to check back next Friday for a new edition.
You guys act like it's